Okay, name is Paul Finn, head coach of men's cross country. My first job out of college was that as a manager at Stop and Shop supermarkets. What I love about being at St. Anselm, the work I get to do with the students and student athletes. Other than meaning my Jeep Wrangler, I was a student here at St. Anselm College, and the opportunity to come back and initially teach and then coach was very exciting, because having a history here and knowing the place and what it stands for, I was excited to come back. Hopefully I haven't had the favorite memory yet, but memories mostly have to do with seeing that student go beyond what they thought their abilities are. Physical memory and location has to do with being at the National Catholic Invitationals at Notre Dame University. I have an active research program in sports psychology here at the college, and the teaching I enjoy very much so. My wife and I live on a lake where we kayak, we snowshoe, very active. And I have a biplane that on occasion we get to fly a little bit. For me, coaching is part of being a guide. I'm a licensed psychologist, and I've guided people through anxiety, depression, brain injury. As a professor, guided people to conferences and to graduate school. And coaching is the opportunity to get the person to that next step that they maybe didn't believe they could get to in their goal and in their path. So I view myself more as a guide, and coaching fits very nicely into it. It covers the whole person, the physical, the emotional, the intellectual, and the spiritual. Boy, I wish I could say I had a favorite sports team, but basically the local Boston teams would be the favorite. Not who one might expect. I loved Uda Pippig when she was running the marathon. So her ability to run 26.2 miles and cross the finish line blowing kisses is amazing. I consider the event occurring when we gather in the morning in the dining hall. So on bus trips, the athletes know what I expect of them, but I'll go around and ask them one in turn what their goal of the day is, and see how well they've merged what I've talked with them about with what their expectations of the day are. On the trip home, depending upon how the performance was, if they had a difficult performance, usually it's an opportunity to debrief. Any one concert would probably be the Trans-Siberian Orchestra. Again, getting that person beyond their expectations in terms of athletic achievements, to me, is the gravy. Just one example that comes to mind is a captain and a player whose fantasy after they graduated was to run Disney and qualify for Boston. They crossed the finish line holding hands well within qualifying time. That to me is exciting. Going out to Notre Dame University, competing against D1, D2, D3 schools, and then going back and taking a look at how we did, not just relative to Division II, but some of the D1s and some of the D3s is exciting. Again, the answer is probably boring, but I would ask Pascal what that wager was all about. Soren Kierkegaard, the Russian, in terms of his phenomenology. The third person in history, it's really kind of hard to come by, but again, an unknown name, probably Brentano.